Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Finally Feel Free event. Today you have me, and today we are talking about light language and how we can use light language to truly heal our throat chakra. Now, our throat chakra is all about our authenticity. It is our voice. It is the sound that we make in this world, both physically, emotionally, and spiritually. It is our presence as well. And over the course of our lives, we get trained out of being ourselves. We get trained out of our authenticity because we get socialized. We start becoming people pleasers. We start entering into transactional relationships. And these are all of the old paradigm and they are phasing out. We are going into a time where everybody will be stepping into their true authenticity. And that is how we start finding our place in life. That is how we start finding our tribe, the people that are meant for us, the relationships that serve us. But without truly shining our light and our authenticity, we will always be lined up with things that aren't quite suited for us. And the more we step into our authenticity, the more things flow into our life that are meant for us, right? Relationships, purpose, just opportunities, all of that kind of stuff. And that is all to do with your throat chakra. Now, if you know my work, I work with the throat chakra a lot because that is the chakra that is my power center because I am a singer, I am somebody out, doing these events and other kind of things. I feel like I'm always in front of people. And over time, using these events, using all of the singing and everything, I have learned how to come back into my authenticity, how to present myself as I just truly am, right? Without any frills, without any justifications. And this has been deeply, deeply healing for me to be seen. It's been deeply healing for me to do the work that I do with people in the public, on YouTube, on, the work, every other thing like festivals, gigs, all of this kind of stuff. And it's before when I was doing all of this stuff and I hadn't healed my throat chakra, I always felt like I had to step into another identity. I felt like I had to put on a mask. I felt like who I was not good enough. I felt like I had to become somebody else to be deserving of being heard, of being seen. And if you have an issue with your throat chakra, simply put, you just feel unseen, unheard, unvalued for who you are, either in personal relationships, either in your work life, either just around your friends, family. You just always feel that your voice is just falling on deaf ears because you have not reclaimed the sovereignty and the power that exists within your voice. So when you communicate, people can pick up on that. That's why they don't listen. It's only when you're completely done, right? When you're fed up and then you communicate, people listen. That's because you're certain in yourself. You've made that choice in yourself and you're strong in yourself, right? But up until then, it's kind of like we're communicating to receive feedback rather than to be heard. But that is a really big topic. I do have throat chakra masterclasses in the golden circle that you can access to learn so much more about that. But today, I don't want to divulge too much. I want to just dive straight into light language and how we can use that, right? So I'm just going to be talking a little bit about why your throat chakra might be blocked, signs that your throat chakra is blocked. Why do we need to heal it with light language? Like, what even is light language? The power, the healing power of light language. And I'm going to be talking about how ancient cultures used light language for healing and activation, right? And this in itself is going to create a remembrance within you because all of you would have had some connection to these ancient cultures. And once you start connecting with which one of these, just by hearing what they did and how they use the language, will activate something within you. And then I'm going to give you 8 ways that you can actually start harnessing into your light language, your unique expression of bringing that into your body. As soon as we bring it into our body in such an authentic way, we're already healing ourselves. And then when we express it out, we are healing others. And then I have created a piece of music for the collective. I've tuned into the collective. I've created a piece of music called Alchemy. And that piece of music is going to be presented in this talk, and you are going to use one of these light language methods, whatever comes through while the music is playing. And then we're going to come back and we're going to see closing reflections. Okay, so let's do this. Let's get ready. So the first thing is your throat chakra might be blocked because of these reasons, right? When you have a frozen self-expression, so that means fear of speaking your truth, that means there have been too many past experiences of being silenced in some way or another that you have not been able to complete and get over. Now, being silenced can happen in many ways. It can happen from the time that we are in the womb. If our mother felt silenced in some way, we would have absorbed that energy, right? Even if our father felt silenced in some way, we would have absorbed this energy, but to a lesser degree. And also through our birthing experience, those things are very valid. But also the way our relationship with our mother and father, the way they interacted with us, the way we perceived them. And of course, I've released my other masterclass today all about the mother and father wound because that's such a popular masterclass. It is a paid one, but I feel this group needs to hear that one, right? So I go so deep in that one. So watch that one. That's available for you today, for the next 48 hours. So if you've been silenced too many times, right, and you carry that frequency within you, then you are going to just continue to feel like you're silenced, and then you will feel there is no point in you speaking your truth, or there'll be a fear of speaking your truth, and that results in a frozen self-expression. Now, the first time everybody can relate to is when they were in school and they were just being themselves and they got silenced, or when they were at home with their family or a caregiver or even siblings, and they were just being themselves and they got silenced. Now, silencing doesn't mean that someone tells you to shut up. It could be that you were just expressing, you were just dancing and making noise and, or just chattering away, and someone just with their facial expressions or their energy was just kind of like, can you just stop? Can you just calm down? Can you tone it down? Right. And then that would have been internalized so much that it results in a frozen self-expression. Another reason is people pleasing. So worrying about how others will perceive your voice, words, and ideas. So then you just kind of people please. You just kind of say to people what they want to hear, or do things that people want you to do, because this is how you would have received love very early on after being silenced. After being silenced, you thought, I still want the love of my parents, my siblings, my teachers, right? I still need to be accepted in this social setting. I cannot be shunned from the group. So now let me just see what the person who's getting the most attention is doing and just emulate them, right? And that results in people pleasing. And that results in you abandoning your true identity to, maintain the relationship of others. The third one is emotional trauma. So, past experiences of criticism, rejection, or verbal abuse. When you felt criticized about who you were, when you felt that you were wrong or bad for being how you were, maybe you were someone who was very loud and very vibrant, but that wasn't accepted in the people with the people around you. So you felt criticized. Everyone was always like, why are you so loud? Right. And then you felt rejected. Or maybe you were so quiet that people were like, why can't you speak up more? Why are you always so quiet? Or don't talk to her. She's just doesn't say anything. That's also criticism. So you think, okay, I feel rejected. I definitely don't want to speak now. Right. Or verbal abuse, when somebody else used their throat chakra to verbally abuse you, you received that and locked it into your body. Okay, so then that results in your throat chakra being blocked because you might think, wow, someone's voice and words can cause so much pain. I just don't even want to speak. And you see this a lot with like mute children who have delayed speech. There's always a reason. There's always it doesn't mean that they've come from an abusive household, but they've seen something or experienced something or perceived something that has made them think that they're not going to use their throat chakra, right, for a while until they feel safe. Another reason is energetic imbalances. So, overthinking, perfectionism, or feeling disconnected from your intuition. If you feel like you need to be a certain way, if you get attention for being perfect, you go into that overthinking, you go really into the mind, and you are very calculative about how you come across. Again, all these reasons are not your fault. It's because of socialization. It's because as children, we just did not like being shunned from the group means we cannot survive. But then we have not outgrown these things. Our inner child is still holding on to these things, right? So I'm just presenting them to you. So when you're too in the mind, you can't be your free expression. You can't connect your third eye, which is your intuition. You can't channel and let just flow happen. So, and another reason is unprocessed grief or shame. Like sometimes we're born into families that we need to communicate something, but we just don't know how to communicate them because our caregivers modeled a way that communication is not good. Maybe we had a parent that had an overactive throat chakra. Maybe they were always shouting or blaming or saying harsh words, right? Or talking a lot. Or maybe we had a parent that had an underactive throat chakra where if something happened, they just silenced themselves. They started stonewalling. They started shutting down. So we, in that scenario, don't know how to process our grief or shame. We don't know how to express ourselves in a balanced way. So we end up holding back emotions that need to be expressed. And this can also block your throat chakra. Another thing is ancestral or past life imprints, karmic wounds relating to speaking up, or persecution for using one's voice. Of course, I talk a lot about the ancient wound of persecution, where over time there has been like healers, people who were medicine people, even good kind of witches, all of these people they would have got killed for just being who they are and living out their purpose, right? And all of us in this group carry an ancient wound of persecution, and it would be ancestral or past life. And that is something that can really create emotional turmoil with us because these things not so long ago resulted in you being killed for being yourself, right? So you would have literally died for just being yourself. And a lot of women carry this because women, especially, men as well, to a certain degree, but women, especially in all cultures, have been very silenced. And sometimes now it's going into an imbalance of overactive throat chakra. We don't want to do that. We always want to keep it balanced. But when we carry that energy, when we carry that karmic wound in our throat chakra, we just cannot embody our true nature and ourselves. And this results in so many issues. Now, if you're thinking, is my throat chakra blocked or not? All of these things I've talked about, is emotional, but there's also physical symptoms. There's also if you get a lot of sore throats, thyroid issues, tension in your neck and jaw, or just a chronic cough, right? If you have difficulty speaking up, if you struggle to express your thoughts clearly, or you just feel unheard, or when it comes to conflict, you just freeze, right? When maybe you over talk, maybe you just talk, 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 and your inner voice is out of balance and your external voice is taking over. So you're kind of blurt things out, or you just gossip a lot, or you just feel that you're criticizing. That's all overactive, right? Dominating conversations. Or maybe it's under talking, right? You're staying silent when in fact you actually want to speak. You actually want to be in the public eye and do things. You want to start a YouTube channel, you want to start a business, but something is holding you back. That's an underactive throat chakra. And there's also creative blockages, right? Feeling stuck in your self-expression, like whether through writing, singing, or speaking, you're a creative person, but you just cannot get it up. And I've struggled with this a lot. A lot of creatives, ebb and flow with this because their throat chakra is so healers, creatives their throat chakra is one of their power centers, and they really go through phases of being able to be completely self-expressive and then completely shut down because they're learning in those moments of being shut down how to deeply connect with their art and their authenticity and de-socialize themselves and step into their true channeling of what they're here to express. Another thing is fear of public speaking, anxiety around using your voice in front of others, anxiety on how people are going to perceive you, what they're going to think of you. Are you going to be, again, it comes from being shunned from the group, ancient persecution wound of being cut. You can get killed just from here. It's the only place in your body that you can be killed in an instant, right? So we have this fear about using it wisely. And another thing is disconnection from intuition. So difficulty trusting our inner guidance or feeling confused about what we're really supposed to do, because our inner guidance is always going to keep guiding us to be authentic because it's connected to our higher self. But because we are on earth and we have been socialized and we have to be in this, life, there's always this misalignment. So then we just start abandoning our inner guidance because we can't follow our inner guidance, right? So we start feeling confused. And then we just feel lost in our lives because we're like, well, this isn't the life that I came out to experience, but where is my inner guidance? Over time, you had to abandon your inner guidance because you wanted to stay in this world with the people around you. But it is so possible to still have people around you and still have, people that are meant to be in your life and be authentic. And that's what we're here to do. Your voice also, another reason is when your inner voice just isn't in alignment. So your inner voice is the voice that is in your head, right? Well, you might have many voices. You might have all your different parts or your mind and your heart and your womb, like all speaking to you. But we have our inner voice. We have the inner voice before we speak or when we're thinking something. Now, if our inner voice is very critical or harsh, it's not in alignment with you. It's taken on the role, it's internalized a parent or an authority figure, right? Or if your inner voice is just kind of always doing the opposite of criticizing and like making you do things that isn't in your favor, it's also not in alignment. So your inner voice is in alignment when you're reflective and you're able to introspect and you're able to be balanced and take into account all different factors before making a choice. Now, so why do we heal with light language? And what even is light language? Now, light language is the language of the universe. So it's very similar to music. So music is a universal language. When we sing or when we hear a piece of music, we receive the emotion, we receive certain codes, right? That does something to our body, and we can't quite explain what it is. Of course, some music has words and some music doesn't. It will just transmit an emotion to us. It will transmit a vibration. It transmits a state of being. Now, light language is very similar. It is the language of the universe. It is somewhere that we can communicate with many beings, galactic beings, plant beings, light beings, right? And they are communicate to us a lot through light language as well. But because we're so ingrained in language, it can be very difficult to step back into the language of the universe. So light language is a multi-dimensional form of communication, and it bypasses the logical mind and speaks directly to the soul. So this is why it's so good for healing, because light language works energetically. It frees up the voice without us having to, get our mind involved, without using logical words. It literally bypasses that whole logical system. Light language can appear as spoken. We can speak it, we can sing it, we can write it, we can gesture it through our hands and our movement. And it activates vibrational healing. The tones, the sounds, and frequencies that we channel resonate deeply with our body because we come from one of these ancient lineages. And I'm going to be talking about how ancient lineages have used light language to heal themselves. So our bodies have this really ancient remembrance of light language because since it's so universal, we have this ancient remembering through our ancestral line, but also our galactic line, also our parallel lives. So it's working on such a multi-dimensional level and it really clears stagnation. It also clears ancestral and past life blocks. It helps release that karmic imprint that's tied to suppression and fear of speaking out because it is working on timelines that we can't even access with our logical mind. It connects to your authentic expression. It opens up a deeper soul-aligned way of communicating and expressing, which is so freeing and healing, right? Because we're not doing anything that we've been socialized to do. Like, this is the only method that's so outside of socialization. Babies use light language, like animals use light language. Nature uses light language, beings use light language, source uses light language, in my opinion. So this is all about connecting back to that without using language and, trying to appear a certain way. It also enhances your spiritual connection. It strengthens your intuition. It deepens your relationship with your divine guidance, your spiritual team, your higher self. Because the more you start channeling, you're activating that muscle of your light language. And it releases emotional stagnation. It allows the voice to become a channel for clearing unexpressed emotions and energetic blockages. Even if you don't sing or speak, if your form of light language is movement or alchemy, it will still work on the throat chakra and all your chakras for that matter, but it will work on your authenticity, right? So the healing power, it works again, right? It bypasses the mental limitations. It bypasses linear thinking. It activates cellular healing. It restructures your DNA. It clears karmic imprints. It rebalances your emotional energy. And each frequency carries an encoded message that is understood by the body and the energetic being, even if the mind cannot interpret it. In fact, the mind cannot interpret it because the mind is the most socialized part of us. And light language has really helped people overcome trauma and emotional blocks. It's activated higher consciousness and spiritual gifts. It's strengthened intuition and self-trust, and it has released ancestral patterns. And in fact, a lot of the children that are diagnosed with autism or diagnosed with certain neurodiverse disorders are actually just trying to communicate through light language. They've come in to be a beacon for that energy. So now I'm going to create an activation just by talking about how ancient cultures have used light language for healing and activation. All of you will be in one way or another connected to one or more of these ancient lineages, and you would have used light language in this way. So, throughout history, light language has been a sacred tool for healing, activation, and divine communication across various civilizations and spiritual traditions. And this is how different lineages have accessed and applied it. So, the Lemurian light language, this is very heart-centered, it's very healing to the heart, and it's got a very elemental connection. And the Lemurians used sacred tones and vocal frequencies to actually heal the earth, to communicate with water, and to elevate their own consciousness. They expressed the light language through telepathic transmissions, hand mudras, and encoded glyphics, both in water and crystals. And sometimes, the crystals that we have today are still, in fact, encoded with the Lemurian light language from many ancient times ago. Now, Atlantis, right? The Atlantean light language, this was all about crystalline and sound healing. So they integrated spoken and written light codes again into crystals, into temples, and into healing chambers on Earth, which still exist today. And they used sound frequency technology to restore the balance and activate dormant DNA within. And they served as a bridge between Earth and star beings, and they facilitated cosmic wisdom downloads. So again, a lot of the healing chambers, places on Earth, temples, crystals, even if we go there and we start allowing, once we start flowing with our own light language, when we go to these sacred sites, we will be able to receive more transmissions through the way we experience light language. The third one is angelic light language. So this is all about celestial healing and divine protection. So archangels like Michael, Metatron, Gabriel used vibrational tones and symbols to activate the soul's highest potential. So they would softly sing or speak to clear the trauma and raise the frequency and provide spiritual protection. In fact, when you want spiritual protection, when you activate your light language, this is such a high vibration that it already creates this aura, this protective aura around you. And angelic light language is also channeled in mystical texts, such as the Enochian language, and it's for sacred rituals, right? So that is angelic. And then we have galactic and starseed light language. Now, these are the cosmic codes. This is the higher consciousness. So the Palladians used melodic tones to awaken heart-centered consciousness. So these tones would automatically bypass us and go straight to the heart, communicating and upgrading the heart. The Arcturians worked with geometric codes and advanced. Oh, something's happening. Hold on, guys. Wow. As I was talking about that, I felt like I was having a palpitation. So there was some upgrade going on during, okay? Whew, okay, so Arcturians worked with geometric codes and advanced sound frequencies for healing and technology downloads. Syrians and Lyrans or Lyrians channeled deep rhythmic tones to activate the throat chakra and DNA awakening. So I have a Syrian, I have connections to the Syrians. So obviously that describes my work for the throat chakra. And many star beings used hand signing and light mudras to transmit energetic codes. Okay, so the fifth one is ancestral and shamanic light language. So this is about earth wisdom and spiritual healing. So this is the most grounded form of light language that exists on earth. And shamans, they channel sacred chants, right? They drum, they make rhythmic sounds, and all this is to clear ancestral trauma and call in spirit allies. And a lot of these chants have not been learned, it's literally channeled in the moment. And indigenous cultures use tribal songs, sacred symbols, and syllables for protection, healing, and guidance. And ancient scripts like Sanskrit and Egyptian hieroglyphics have preserved encoded light language wisdom. So just by looking at the language or hearing the language, it's encoded deep in. And across time, light language has remained a bridge between the dimensions. So it's a tool for deep healing and a way to awaken the soul's highest potential. Now I'm going to be talking about 8 ways that you can just experiment with light language and see what happens. And maybe you might be drawn to one of these. Maybe you want to do all of them. Maybe you want to combine them, right? The first one is humming and toning. So just start by humming a single tone and letting it naturally shift into different pitches. So you can experiment with high and low frequencies, and you can just allow the sound to vibrate through the body. So in this time, you're going to just let go of judgment and you're going to just let the sound flow spontaneously without thinking. And a really good way to start activating the humming within your body is to just close your ears and just go, and just watch what happens to your system. And you can do low, you can do high, you could go. Whatever works for you. Now, obviously, I've got my music that I've created, and it's got light language codes infused in it where you can hum along and do different things to it. And that's coming up, don't worry. So the next thing is shapes with hands, energetic light codes. So you just can move your hands intuitively as if you're drawing in the air, right? Imagine your hands are tracing sacred symbols from other dimensions, and you can just feel the energy shift as you create patterns. Now, some may feel familiar, like mudras or glyphs, and some may be completely experimentative. Okay. The third one is automatic writing. So you just use a journal and you let your hand move freely. You just draw whatever comes to you without trying to control it, like whether it be drawing symbols or shapes or unknown scripts or unknown language, right? So don't force the meaning, just allow the codes to flow into the paper. So you could like set up a sacred space and go into that connection, go into that trance. Maybe you want to hum, maybe you want to move your hands, and then start automatic writing. And afterwards, place your hand over the writing and see if you can feel its frequency. Another one is body movements and dance. This is called embodied light language. This is about allowing your body to sway or move or gesture spontaneously and tune into the vibration of the sounds and allow them to guide your body and just let go of your body and see what happens as you're just moving. And a lot of like Kundalini activations, obviously I've got a Kundalini background. It really works with these repetitive movements and allows the codes to flow in. And this is like somatic energy transmission. It allows the light codes to truly be integrated into the fabric, into the muscles of our being. The other one is breath work, right? You can just take a deep breath in through the nose and you can have the intention to receive a light code. And as you exhale, you can let a sound naturally emerge. This could be a sigh, a tone, or a syllable. So, Allah, so you can try in your own way. And you can repeat this several times, noticing if your breath begins to form rhythms or languages. The sixth one is mirror gazing. This is about activating your soul's expression. So you stand in front of a mirror and you look into your own eyes and you speak or whisper light language while holding your gaze and let your soul guide you. And you can notice how your facial expressions or your voice or your energy starts to shift as you deepen the connection. And more often than not, your aura and your face will start to soften. The seventh one is water activation. So this is about speaking to the elemental realm. So holding a glass of water, speak light language into it, infuse it with high frequencies, and then drink it mindfully and follow the water throughout your body and observe how your energy shifts. So water holds memory. So this technique is very powerful for cellular healing. Like we can actually create our own medicines for what we need out of water. And the most important one is group transmission, right? When we all come together, when we've all got our form of light language and we've practiced it, and we sit in a circle, we can all work together. We can take turns sounding out light language or allowing our voices to merge into a collective transmission and feel how the group amplifies the energetic codes. Now, the last one is letting the language flow, right? Just start speaking in syllables that feel natural. Babies, before they talk, are actually speaking light language in their own way. Like, even if it doesn't make logical sense, allow your language to just to just come out. Don't even listen to other people who speaking light language because they could be speaking a different kind of light language that is very unique to what they're here to do. But you've got a different kind of light language. So tune into the emotion behind the sound. Like, is it joyful? Is it soothing? Is it activating? You know, what happens to your body as the emotions arise or the intuitive messages start coming in? Trust that your light language speaks directly to your soul's intelligence. So now I'm going to play this music called Alchemy that I have created in a state of being connected to light language. And I want you to use this to use one of these forms of light language or all of them and just see what emerges for you, right? You can use your voice, you can use movement, you can use a journal, you can use sounds, whatever, you can use a mirror, whatever you want. And just start placing your hands on your heart and feel the vibration within. And then when you feel ready, move out. And you can play this as much as you want to guide you to connect with your light language. And I haven't sang too much. I've left a lot of empty space for you to explore what comes up for you. And I will be back after that to check in with you. Hello, beautiful souls. Now, I really want you to connect with how that felt for you, what you experienced, And I want to remind you that your light language will evolve the more that you practice. I want you to journal and record your sessions to just for it to be healing so you get used to connecting with yourself in that way and releasing that judgment. And light language is has always been a bridge between dimensions. It is a tool for healing, awakening, and divine connection. And there is only so much that I can talk about it. It's only when you start experiencing it and experiencing that direct transmission of source energy in a very experiential, empowering, and activating way will you start realizing its power. And that is why I want to invite you to a light language activation workshop where you can find your own light language. And we will be meeting every week for 4 weeks. And I will be giving you exercises to activate your light language, to heal your dominant wounds in your throat chakra. And it's a very safe space to explore music, movement, language, and alchemy to awaken your light language channel and heal your throat chakra. And one of those sessions is a one-to-one with me where we truly guide you to activate your light language. I will be teaching this in a pre-recorded way and a live way, so you can choose what works for you. I really invite you to explore that option. And if you want any more information about that, you can reach out to me and I will tell you more. You can just shoot me over an email, and the price is £497 for 4 weeks, which is an absolute accessible way to start activating your light language, using it in your healing abilities, awakening your master healer, starting to connect with your divine purpose, starting to connect with where you are right here on earth. I thank you so much for being here. I will leave you now and enjoy the rest of the event. So much love.